Top 10 places to visit in Egypt. Most people come to Egypt to view its ancient monuments. Natural attractions beckon travelers too. The Red Sea coast is known for its coral reefs and beach resorts. A trek through the Sahara can lead visitors to refreshing freshwater spring oases. So, before we get started, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. 10. Edfu. Set between Aswan and Luxor on the west bank of the Nile, Edfu is but a small river city. Yet among it stands one of the best-preserved temples in Egypt. Pharaonic history bursts to life at the Temple of Horus and seeps through every crevice of its sightly sandstone structure. One of Egypt's holiest sanctuaries, the Temple of Horus maintains much of its original structure. Those who designed it wasted no space with reliefs encrypted across the halls, showcasing stories from beyond the ancient world. Statues representing the falcon god of Egypt, Horus guides you on a journey back to 3000 BC and deep into the Ptolemaic era. Surrounding the temple are remnants of age-old villages, some of which once encased the temple, hiding it from plain sight. 9. White Desert. Once a seabed, Egypt's White Desert is today a postcard to the past. It's a mesmerizing example that life never stays still. Like the seashells on the mountaintops in Yellowstone National Park, the White Desert is rich in sedimentary limestone, showcasing a time when its landscape was polar opposite. When you first gaze upon the White Desert, you'd be forgiven for not trusting your eyes. In the morning light, the desert's white chalk spires spin out from the desert floor. The orange hues of the early day combine with the shades to create a spectacular dance that feels beyond surreal. 8. Dasha. Dasha is a little village south of Cairo that's home to some lesser-known, less crowded pyramids. You won't find the massive queues that you'd expect at the Giza complex or Sakara here. In fact, until 1996, it was a restricted military zone. Like Sakara, Dasha was part of the ancient necropolis of Memphis. The same pharaoh behind the building of the Great Pyramid built 2 more complete pyramids in Dasha. In the years after, many more pharaohs had their own pyramids built here to form a total of 11, but none of them could compete with the original ones. 7. Alexandria. The second largest city and leading seaport in Egypt, Alexandria has a prime location on the edge of the Mediterranean. Founded in 331 BC by Alexander the Great, the city was once considered the crossroads of the world. Several of Egypt's pharaohs, including Cleopatra, ruled the country from Alexandria until the nation fell to Rome in 30 BC. Under Roman rule, the city earned a reputation as a center for arts and literature. The city's Roman theater, which features stunning mosaic flooring and marble seating, is a remnant of Alexandria's Roman occupation. 6. Siwa Oasis. Located near Egypt's western border, Siwa Oasis remained culturally isolated from the rest of the country until late in the 19th century. Surrounded by the Egyptian Sand Sea, the Siwan people developed their own unique customs, as well as their own language, Sowi, a Berber dialect. The small community was not unknown to the outside world, however, even centuries ago. The famous Temple of the Oracle of Ammon, believed to have been built in the 6th or 7th century BC, made the oasis a place of pilgrimage. The most famous visitor to seek the oracle's wisdom was Alexander the Great. 5. Sakara. The name Sakara refers to an Egyptian village, but more importantly, an age-old necropolis with a scattering of both large and smaller satellite pyramids spread across a dusty desert plateau. Buried beneath the sand overlooking the Nile Valley until the 19th century, Sakara has since been undergoing a significant restoration process. Named after Sokar, the Memphite god of the dead, Sakara served as a cemetery for the ancient city of Memphis for thousands of years and is the largest archaeological site in Egypt. As such, it's home to hundreds of fascinating tombs and burial sites for pharaohs and other Egyptian royals. The highlight of Sakara is the Step Pyramid of Giza, the oldest pyramid on Earth. You'll find some of the best views of the Nile from the top of this pyramid, accessible via a wooden ramp when the gate is open. 4. Abu Simbel. Set over a glistening Lake Nasser, the temples of Abu Simbel are a collection of some of the most stunning monuments in Egypt. It's an ancient engineering marvel that includes the Temple of Hathor and the great temples of Ramses II. It took a stroke of genius to create such an incredible sight, yet an even better one to save it. When the construction of the Aswan High Dam was completed in the 1960s, the 3,200-year-old site lay in the path of the rising waters of Lake Nasser. The edifices and their temples were dismantled and reassembled brick by brick on a bank high above the reservoir. 3. Cairo. This dusty capital city is one of the most sprawling cities on Earth, home to more than 17 million people. Built on the banks of the Nile River, Cairo is a medieval Islamic city with an eternally hazy horizon and beige-colored buildings topped with TV satellites. Built near the ancient capital city of Memphis, modern Cairo is a popular starting point for cruises up the Nile and for explorations of the pyramids at Giza, just outside the city's limits. But there is so much to do within this enormous city itself. At the world-renowned Egyptian Museum of Tahrir Square, visitors can get a close-up view of the treasure of Tutankhamun, as well as mummies and other artifacts from Egypt's ancient past. 2. Luxor. 1,000 years after the construction of the Great Pyramids, the new kingdom arose in Egypt, and power shifted from the ancient capital of Memphis to Thebes in the south, the site of modern-day Luxor. Enriched by gold mined in the deserts of Nubia and transported to the city on the River Nile, Thebes became the country's cultural and political hub. Today, the mid-sized city Luxor is known as the world's largest open-air museum and is one of Egypt's most popular travel destinations. There's so much to see and do in Luxor, from temples to tombs and everything in between. You'll need to allow a couple of days to do it all justice. 1. Giza Necropolis. The Giza Plateau is probably one of the most recognizable destinations on Earth. Located on a desert plateau to the west of the capital of Cairo, Giza is its own city, but in recent years it's grown so much that it feels like another district of ever-expanding Cairo. While once a humble carriage track, Giza is now one of the most touristy parts of Egypt, home to upmarket hotels, big-name restaurants, giant shopping malls, and pulsing nightclubs. But most famously, Giza is the closest part of the city to the pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx, which is why most people center themselves around this neighborhood for at least a few days during their trip to Cairo. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content. Hit the notification bell to stay updated with my latest videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching.